Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of Soulivity Today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, of course, we're glad you're here with us. Back with us again is my radiant co-host, Sheila Applegate, who's a conscious life coach and author. Sheila, how have you been?
I've been good. Summer has taken its route for me. It's made a decision that I'm supposed to play. So I've had company last week, and then my
Oh,
friend from
wow.
Florida just decided spontaneously to come visit. So she'll be here tomorrow. So I'm doing my work that's scheduled, and the rest I'm going to enjoy summer with friends. So
I love it. I love it. We this past weekend we went to New York City to it was like a really quick in and out trip to celebrate Sasha's cousin's sister's 50th birthday. She's crossed on over. So Vanessa, happy birthday again to you. Just a great weekend. I mean, it was hot, of course, but
yes.
just a really, really, really great week. Well, has the weather been hot there?
Yes, we have two weathers right now, either extremely hot with heat warnings or storm warnings. So we're going from thunderstorms to hot. And it usually the thunderstorms break it, right? And then you get these beautiful days after, but it's just back and forth this summer.
Yeah, it'll be
So
100. It's the forecast is for 101 today here in
ooh,
DC.
yeah.
But we're supposed to get rain tomorrow, so hey, it's all good. So I was saying before we have an amazing show, so why don't we get started?
Yes. I
All
always
right.
love these shows.
Yeah, as I was saying, we got an amazing show. And so why don't we start here? With everything that's happening in the world today, is it possible that we can sometimes feel restricted and limited in what is possible for our life? Well, the truth is, in our sense of fulfillment and joy is very much related to our sense of freedom, feeling free to be ourselves in a way we can live and work in today's world. But today, we want to pose this question. Could we look at this truth from a different perspective? Is it possible for joy to help us live as our authentic self, being all that we are meant to be? Well, back to help us answer this question and more is Halina Goldstein, who is the author of the book Joyful Manifestation: Live in Freedom and Joy by Manifesting in Alignment with Your Soul, Step by Step. I am so glad Halina's here. Halina, this is like the perfect topic. I've been actually thinking about this for a few months now,
Mm,
where um, I think it's a key, a real key to unlocking everything that we want. And, because I think the more you move into your true self, the more the universe responds, right? Because you're in alignment with what God, universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it, has for our lives. So thank you for being here. This is excellent.
It's my pleasure, my honor. I love being here.
As I was saying before, we're answering this question around, you know, is it possible for joy to help us live our authentic self? And I guess the first things that we have to answer is the importance of being our true self. So I'm going to go to you first, of course, being our joyful guru. I love it. That's going to be your nickname now, the joyful guru. About, you know, what's the importance of this? Why is it, answering the question? I mean, I think the three of us know that, but for our audience who may not, be in this space a lot, Why is it important for us to be our true selves in our world, maybe including our relationships, in work, and in other aspects of life?
Mm, big question, and there are many answers to it, obviously, and I think some of them you will explore along the way today. But to my surprise, actually, the first response that kind of emerges in me ties into what you said in the beginning. You said in our world, as it looks, it might be difficult to feel free to be ourselves and to feel joy. What came to my mind is that our world is indeed in crisis in so many ways, and I do believe that that it is due to us not being ourselves. It has something to do with us not being fully connected with our essence, not being fully connected with everything that we have to offer, and not only for ourselves, but also for each other. So, and of course, this is not the only perspective. It's not the only reason to be ourselves, but it is today an important reason, because we all see the results of what happens when, you could say, so many people become selfish, not selfish in the sense that they're connected with the self, but actually selfish in the sense that they are hungry for being themselves. And try to get more, because they're not in touch with themselves. They're not in touch with their essence. And that is a destructive behavior. Our world needs us to unfold as who we really are and to share in different ways with each other, I believe. And
Agreed. Yeah, I love that. What about you, Sheila? What are your thoughts when you hear this question around the importance of being your true, your authentic self?
Yeah, so of course I love everything you just said, Halina. And I'm thinking that I always love looking at the younger generations, because the younger generation is the generation that's going to move us further, right? Because that's just the natural timeline for humans, even when we think that maybe it's not, but it is. And so, one of the things that I feel like I do see the younger generation being themselves more, and just authentically finding those joys. And then I think back to my, teenage years, and how I was I had my close friends, but there was I didn't fit into a particular group, right? Like I had different friends. So thinking about that and just finding joy. When we find our joy, we are going to be able to allow ourselves to express that. And that's what's so important in this world. So whenever we celebrate Pride or Juneteenth, or any time when people are really just celebrating who they are, that makes our world a better place. And so I think it's just one of the most important things.
Yeah, and doesn't it seem just counterintuitive that, oh well, you're just supposed to be yourself, right? But I think a lot of times, and again, we're going to get into the difficulties in the next segment and shine a light on that, because it's not as easy as we'd like to think it is, right? Because, there's societal things and other things that are there that kind of stand in the way and kind of cover over our authentic self. I know for me, this question of the importance of being my true self, it has been the journey, right? It's the journey within, right? And so when I started this, then I started to understand more and more and more and more and more why it was important, right? So you just don't get it on the front end. You get it as you go through the process of discovering and rediscovering and awakening to all all that you are and all that you are meant to be. Um, so it's a fascinating aspect of just living and spirituality. I mean, it's all these different things, right? Yeah. I say to friend of mine all the time around, like, you know, our personal life, our professional life, where we have all these categories and buckets, where it's like, no, it's all personal. So I look at this like this today, what we're talking about, the same way, where it's all your life. It's just all your authentic self, just expressing itself in different situations, but it's all the same, right? So glad you guys are here talking about this. Any other comments, Halina, before we go to break, about the importance of being our true self?
Well, it's kind of along the same lines as you already mentioned, is that because I am also being taken back to the whole journey, and what does it even mean to be our authentic selves? And I'm remembering, oh, there are times when we think my body is myself, this is my most true self, and there are times when we believe what I feel right now, this is my true self, or what I think, or what I believe. And as I get older, and I do, I notice more and more, and of course our soul, that always feels like, oh, this is my true self, this is what I've been waiting for, this is who I really want to be. At the end of the day, I think I realize more and more it's the wholeness of ourselves that is our true self. And that is true for us as individuals, but again, it's also true for our world, to be the wholeness that we are. That means a lot.
I'm loving this conversation. So thank you for that. Listen, everyone, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation, but from a different angle. We're going to talk about some of the difficulties in being our first self, our full self. So stay right there. We'll be right back with more of Soulivity Today in just a minute. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Book your luxury wine tour today with Old Vine Wine Tours and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. Old Vine Wine Tours offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Go to Old Vine Wine Tours /Wine in the Weeds for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your adventure today.
Are you a business owner looking to expand your reach and revenue to a perfect community? Being a Soulivity Today radio sponsor puts your business in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every week, and it's affordable too. For about the cost of a cup of coffee and snack each day, you can reach ideal people looking for your product or service. Our weekly 53-minute program airs on weekdays at 8 a.m. Eastern and Pacific times with real conversations about the people, places, and topics that are part of our everyday life. A perfect opportunity for you. Go to Soulivity.com /Soulivity today to learn how you can expand your business marketplace by becoming a Soulivity Today radio show sponsor. And for a limited time, special rates are being offered, so don't delay.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity Today as we talk about joy, and daring to be who you are meant to be with author Halina Goldstein and co-host Sheila Applegate. We're going to answer this next question, which is, what are some of the difficulties that exist in being our true self? Really interesting question here. So let's share some experiences real quick. Sheila, I'm going to go to you first.
Well, when I think of what are the difficulties, I think we touched on it. The first one is to know yourself, right? How can you be
Mm.
yourself, your authentic self, if you don't know it? And I go back to my yearbook, and I wrote in my yearbook, I'll be myself as soon as I find her. And I feel like I feel like I found her, but I mean, I guess I was being myself and realizing I hadn't found her, but so I feel like the difficulty is first knowing who we are, and then the other difficulty is fitting in with society, or thinking, as you were talking about, we have our work cap, and we have our home personality and all of that, but for me, that is one of the areas where I was being my authentic self. I left the social work industry years ago to follow this path of, kind of being out there and doing spiritual readings and wanting to normalize it. But in the beginning, even though I was following my joy, I do remember hiding it. So here my passion was to normalize it, but I still don't really know what to say to different people depending on where they are. But now I don't care as much, right? Now it's just like, this is who I am. You figure it out, and, but I do remember one time, and it was I had, my kids were in nursery school, and I was friends with all the parents, and I was just not, they maybe one knew what I did at that point. And the last day of Sarah's graduation from nursery school, I was next to a woman, and I said, "Oh, I have to go home and do a reading." And she was like, "What?" And it turned out she was also a reader, and we are still dear friends to this point. So that risk of like taking that opportunity to be myself in different pockets that I assume people want or expect me to be something different, right? And so
Mm.
that's always conflict. If I go to a meet and greet and I feel like I have to fit in with them or whatever, like a networking meeting, I can't talk. I'm not good at small talk. So, so I only, but if I go in with joy and just like, oh, let me meet people, that's a very different space for me. So I know that may seem surface, but to me, that has been one of my greatest obstacles to like truly living in my joy.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thanks for that. Thank you. Halina, what about you? What have been some of your experiences in like difficulty of expressing yourself?
I think at the core of it, for me, the greatest difficulty was fear. And just to show a couple of examples, one from my childhood and one fairly recent actually, is from my childhood, I come from a Jewish family. So I've been brought up to be invisible, because being invisible meant that you don't put yourself in danger. You're not being attacked. And I know today that this is something that all minorities use as survival strategy to become invisible, to not be yourself in other ways. And at the end of the day, we are all a minority, right? Our unique self is a minority.
Yeah.
So there is this fear of if I'm visible, I can become a target. But recently, I noticed that fear resurface in a different role, so to speak, where I noticed that there are certain situations that required truly my openness when there was fear, and then I realized I am simply there's some fear of showing my deepest life and my highest joy. Especially in personal interactions, and I was reminded of Brian Williamson's famous quote that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. In other words, our greatest fear is being who we really are. But we're working on it, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you both for that. As you guys were both talking, I think my own experiences have been like a combination of both. Or I think all of us, it's a combination of both, right? Where I think when we're children, we're socialized into believing that we are not okay as we are, right? You have to be this job or have these things, and then once you get to a certain level, then you'll be okay, right? Because now you're especially like in cultures where you're supposed to be a productive member of society, right? So I think in Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, she talks about the check boxes, right? So you're checking the boxes, right? Okay, I'm going to school, college, okay, check. So I've got that now. Now I'm a college educated person. Great. Now professional, okay, get a good job. Okay, now I've got to get married. Okay, I'm a wife now. Now I've become a mother. And it's like all these check boxes are going through, only to realize as you're going through, if you're becoming more aware, that you are okay from the beginning, and that you're just allowing yourself to express yourself through all these different things, and you're not defined as any of those things. You're defined as a whole self from the beginning. And so, the socialization has the categories, and then you're separating things, like how many times have we heard, well, it's only business, right? Well, if you're in business and you lay off somebody and you're feeling bad about that, well, that feeling is personal. It's not professional. So it's all the same. And so, we have to awake to that. And I think, I always talk about this new normal, right? We're creating a new normal for ourselves, because the normal is what we just talked about. All these difficulties, all the stuff that we've either been taught, about how we're supposed to be. And we're kind of like unpacking that and then creating another way of living. And so it's this balance, you're going through this kind of duality for a time, and then you just start living in this other space. So it's hard. It can be hard.
Yeah.
And that's where the grace and all this kind of stuff comes in. So thank you both for sharing. Those are good stories. Really good stories.
Yes.
Listen, why don't we take another break, because we've got more to talk about. Coming up, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into specifically how joy can help you take this leap, right? This leap into daring to be all that you can be. I'm hearing the old U.S. Army commercial, be all that you can be. So we're going to take this break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life.
For more information about Aspire Academy by Soulivity, visit aspire.soulivity.com today.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today as we talk about joy and daring to be all that you are meant to be, with Halina Goldstein and my co-host Sheila Applegate. Why don't we dig in a little bit deeper into this? And that's actually talking about, joy and how joy can come in and maybe help and assist us in daring to be ourselves. Halina, you are our joyful guru. Feel free to use that. I won't charge you anything for that. About how joy can help. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Did I lose your sound, Halina?
Yes.
I think you're muted. You might be muted on your side.
I'm sorry. I'm
There
back.
we go.
Yes, well, there's a long way from Europe to the US. It must be
Got lost in the sea.
Must be the heat. Sorry about that. So joy is something that can seem so special in our world, but it's something that we are born with. It's who we are, and what happens when we reconnect with joy is that we go straight back to that feeling. Oh, this is who I am. And what I experienced, at least in my own life, is that there's a sense of confidence. There's a sense of being just my natural self. There's not like, now I can be my natural self. It just happens. It just happens. There is less self-consciousness in the limiting sense of the word. There's a sense of connection. So joy really frees us to come back to who we really are, in my experience. How's yours?
As you were talking about this was the thought that I have, and I'm going to pose this question to both of you, and I'll go to you, Sheila, first for this. Since joy is one of those if-then questions, so if joy is ever present, it is part of the natural state of our universe, right? Like love is constant, joy is constant. If that's the case, then isn't when we connect to joy bringing forth our authentic self? Because that's at its core where our authentic self lives. Sheila, what do you think?
I think that's exactly what I was about to talk about.
Yay!
Right? So yes, I do. I think there's two aspects of joy, right? We have that natural flow that, just like unconditional love, is available to us just because we're humans, right? And we can, it's more of that vibration that we can allow to encircle us and fill us. And then there's the joy that we experience from situations or within our lives. And I think that we talked earlier about, to really find out who you are and what is joyful to you is part of that becoming your authentic self. And so when we learn also that it's there for us, and maybe we never even knew that, right? If we're grown up in a situation where we haven't experienced a lot of joy, the concept of joy just being available as a choice for us to start to feel, not attached to any circumstance, is an incredible experience to explore. And then it's also the compass to help us find who we are, because if we tune in and we start to experience that feeling and that expression, then we can make our choices based on what brings us joy. And we can start to get in tune with that. And it's not the surface happiness that we've spoken of. It's that internal joy that makes us feel more like ourselves. And in that space, we can move through the expectations, right? Because I think a lot of times before we remember this, we are responding to expectations. And I think that, Halina, your being muted was a perfect example of this, right? Any one of us could have been mortified that we had just had an error on when we were live, or we could just laugh about it and have joy in that moment and make a joke and move on. And I think it's a tiny thing, but it's where the tiny things happen that we experience that moment of doubt, or that lack of authentic self and joy. It's in those little moments that they come.
So glad that you said that, because I think that people really need to know at an energetic level, at a feeling level, the difference between our definitions of joy and happiness. Now, some people may see it all as happiness. That's fine. But there's the happiness that is conditional, that is based in what we're socialized to believe, like the categories, the things like, if you do this, then this, you get this reward, right? You get the cookie, and then you eat the cookie and you feel good. The cookie's always there. The feel good's always there. You don't have to go through and do something to get it, right? And so, Halina, you just wonderfully exhibited that through the whole technical issue, right? Where it's like, oh, well, okay, well, we'll just go to the joy. And so you just went to the joy, and so it's beautiful. And so those are the things that we have to remember. And all three of us were able to experience that because we all connected with it. And so we just moved on, right? Which I think is the beauty of joy. And again, that was an example of us just connecting and being all our authentic selves in that moment, right? Where it's just, oh, okay, well, it's a little roadblock, a little stumbling block. Okay, just hop over it and keep moving. So thank you. So special thanks to you for the technical thing today. You did that on purpose. You did that on purpose.
It was all planned.
Literally did it on purpose.
Yeah, perfect.
Listen, we're going to take another quick break, everyone. And so, go get a cup of coffee or something like that. Because when we come back, we're going to answer a specific question. And that is, how can we share our innermost essence? So we're learning this being in our state of our authentic self, but another part of this is sharing it. So you're going to get the answer next.
Join us every weekday at 8 a.m. for Soulivity Today.
Whether you're just starting your day or on the road,
Soulivity Today will make your days better.
We will empower you with authentic conversation about the latest news and trending topics. Plus, you won't want to miss our interviews with industry experts.
so sit back, relax, and get ready for a whole lot of fun.
Soulivity Today, weekdays at 8 a.m. only on KMET 1490 AM radio and ABC News affiliate.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity Today as we talk about joy and daring to be Who You Are Meant to Be with author Halina Goldstein and my co-host Sheila Applegate. When we talk about everything that we've talked about today, it's been this more personal experience, right? So I want to make this turn to how we share it, right? How we bring it into the world. Because I think, Halina, things that you've talked about in terms of joy is ever present and that kind of thing. But a great experience of joy is having it be interpersonal with other beings on the planet, including animals and trees and all. It's everything, and sharing this experience. Can you talk about how we can share? Like, what are some of the things that you're thinking about when you hear that question?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is a word you used, and that is the word present. It's this, whether it's we speak about being who we really are or joy, it's the same thing. It's the only way to not be who we are, to not feel joy, is but not being present. It's kind of backward word of saying it, but that's how it is. So presence, being as present as we can be with ourselves and with each other here now. What is being said? What is being felt? What is being sensed? That's the shortest way to bring joy and authenticity into our interaction.
I felt that.
That's simple.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Sheila, what about you? What are you thinking when you hear that question?
I feel like when we tune into our own joy, sometimes we think, oh, to make choices based on my joy is a selfish choice, but it's the opposite of that, because when we're choosing joy, like when we go into any space where we're connecting with other people, and I always do an alignment that I do very quickly where I'm in my higher self and consciousness. But if you only focused on joy, let joy flow through me in this moment, that would encompass everything. And so when we are in joy, that joy ripples out to others, and it's a gift, it's a welcoming, it's giving people the opportunity to experience it. And I think that we can experience joy in any situation, and that it can be helpful. And even like, I'm thinking, well, someone might think it's inappropriate for me to walk into a wake feeling joyful, but
Right.
if we're in that space, there still can be grief and honoring. And I'm thinking of when my parents were going through dementia and Alzheimer's, and even into the difficult deaths that they had. Well, my mom had. We were able to experience joy in those moments, and that made all the difference. We could laugh together. We could joke about the situation, and from an authentic place, join together as a family in joy during some of the most difficult situations. So I think that when we remember, it's not selfish, it's actually a gift to everyone to choose this. When it's authentic, it feels compassionate.
Right. And thank you for that. Thank you both for those great thoughts. I think the beauty and the lesson of joy in it is the intrinsic value that we are multidimensional, that joy can be ever present, and that you can experience things and different emotions at the same time, as joy is this foundational thing that's helping you realize that what we're seeing is not the true essence. It's way more than that. And so it kind of brings you back, like you were talking about your parents. We've talked about my dad and other people who've gone on the other side of the veil, where it's like, yeah, I miss him. I miss the physicality of him. I miss like his voice, his smell, his looking at his eyes. But I also know that when he was here, he was going through a lot of challenge. So now that doesn't exist anymore for him. And he's with my grandparents. They're hanging out, listening to music and whatever they're doing and having a blast. So that makes me happy at the same time, right? Where I can like, okay, well, yeah, cool. That's great, right? And so, and then sharing that, right? I can share that with my mom and with my brother, and with my wife, and give that, we're like, and then we all just kind of naturally come into this sense full of joyful memories and it's like, oh, okay, all right, this is okay. I like this feeling, that grief doesn't have to be all like, you're just depressed, that there's more to be experienced, and joy and sharing that joy can be a wonderful, wonderful thing to do, you know. Um, we're going to take another break, but Halina, I want to come back to you for any kind of like thoughts around the sharing aspect of yourself and the joy that comes from that.
What I'm thinking about is that when we come to this world, we just are who we are. This is who we are. There's no thinking, there was just being ourselves. It's natural. Then life begins and we start limiting ourselves in all kinds of ways for all kinds of reasons. That's the journey. But at this point, to those of us who have this conversation, who listen to it, who are open to it, there's a need to make a choice. There's a need to say, yes, I'm going to say yes to myself. And I know this is also saying yes to my world. I'm going to say yes to joy. And I know this is also saying yes to the joy in the world. Because when we make that choice, when we say, I'm going to do it, then it can guide all the other decisions we make and the way we choose to live. It's so important. And it's not difficult. It's just takes some consciousness, but that's all there is to it.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Beautiful way to end this particular segment. But everybody, listen, we got more coming here on Soulivity today. We're going to have some final thoughts from all of us in about 2 minutes. So stay right there.
Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Book your luxury wine tour today with Old Vine Wine Tours and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. Old Vine Wine Tours offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Go to Old Vine Wine Tours /Wine in the Weeds for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your adventure today.
6 years ago when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today. Such a great show today, ladies. Want to give each one of you just a minute or two for any final thoughts about joy and us daring to be who we are. And Sheila, I'll go to you first.
You know what? I think if you follow the joy and just make that your mission, even if you're just starting out for a day or a week or whatever, just in each moment say, what would bring me joy in this moment? And take the risk of going in that direction. You're going to discover yourself more. And in discovering yourself more, you can claim who you really are to the world, because a lot of times the process starts with that figuring out who I am so that I can claim it. And then naturally that vibration of joy is going to draw to you other people that support that path and want to be a part of the joy path that you're following.
Mm, mm, mm. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Halina, what about you?
Well, I can think of, we have a body, a physical body, and it helps. Our physical body remembers perhaps much better than our mind who we are naturally. So one of the many things we can do, along what Sheila just said, is to go back to your body. Allow yourself to relax into your body, because there is a sense of your natural being who you are, naturally expressing who you are, naturally being your joy.
Wow. Wow. I don't have much to say because I think you both have said it so eloquently today. I'll just kind of reiterate what I said earlier to everyone. And that is, I think it's really, really vitally important that when you're thinking about your life and you're thinking that I really want to create this high quality life for myself, which can have ripple effects out to my relationships, my family, and that kind of thing. That if you haven't started the process of discovering who you are, that this is like probably the first thing you need to do, like part of your self-awareness, that bring joy in and then let joy lead you through the process of daring to be who you are, right? And really, really, really diving deep into that, because everything else will flow from that. Everything will flow from that. If you're self-aware, you'll know what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to go. All those things just flow from it. So just take heed, everyone, to what we've talked about today. And just want to say thank you to both of you for sharing your light and your love in this conversation today. Why don't we get to some quick Soulivity gifts from the heart? As we talked about this before, Halina, you have a wonderful book that is out, Joyful Manifestation, Live in Freedom and Joy by Manifesting in Alignment with Your Soul Step by Step. This is a book that's available at Amazon.com and wherever books are sold. So please go out and check that out. So thank you for writing that great book, Halina. And Sheila, as always, you have some great soul connection sessions that are very affordable. And you can go to SheilaApplegate.com to register and find that. If you use Soul 23, I think that's going to become Soul 24. So sooner or later, you get $44
we decided
off.
To skip 24.
you can get $44 off of your first session. So thanks for that. Again, that's SheilaApplegate.com for that. You guys, it's always too quick when we do these shows together, but important stuff that we talk about. So thank you both for being here. And again, sharing your light and your love.
Thank you.
Really important topic today. And I mean that, really important topic to talk about today. Yeah. Listen, while we have some time left, just want to let everybody know that, listen, again, we're on social media. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, even Threads. So make sure that you subscribe to our social media channel so you can find out what's going on in the world of Soulivity. Also, every show is a podcast, so you can go to your favorite podcast provider and you can download us and take us wherever you go. Also, make sure you go to soulivity.com for the latest and greatest stories and that are there to help you create your best life today. You can even watch our show now live on, we live stream into soulivity.com. So if you're like, okay, where do I go see it? Just go to soulivity.com and check us out, because all our shows are being streamed live. There's this great article on summer essentials for 2024. I know it's been hot around the country, so that's a great article for you. As well as, listen, we're still doing enrollments for the whole health healing system curriculum with Dr. Mark Mancola. There's an early bird special that's going on all the way till August 1st that you'll get 10% off any registration, full registration. So make sure you go there. You can find out more information again by going to soulivity.com. Ladies, wow. Again, just a great show. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do next. We're going to have like, what are we going to do next with Joy?
Surprise.
Oh man.
We can ask listeners.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be a good thing. People can email us at soulivity@soulivity.com. They can say, hey, we'd like you to talk about XYZ. Maybe that'll be a good thing. I also wanted to say this really quickly too. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And I don't just mean in the United States. I mean, in the world, there's a lot going on. So, please use us as a resource to help move you through different things, including things like, the next Joy Keepers is next week, correct?
It is the next Joy Keepers Cafe, right?
Yeah. And so, again, this is another resource for you. So we just want to make sure that you guys know about all this stuff and just come back and use us. That's why we're here. So thanks again to both of you. Thanks again to all of you for joining us. This is how we do it every Monday through Friday here on Soulivity TV. You can watch us at 8 o'clock Eastern from Monday through Friday, or you can watch or listen to us on KMET 1490 AM radio at 8 a.m. Pacific time for all of you out on the West Coast. So again, on behalf of everyone here at Soulivity today, this is Brian Westley Johnson saying, keep working that passion and purpose, everyone, and you're going to create your best life of high quality living today. See you next time. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any